Do not shoot the messenger. That's all I am. My apologies up front, because after you listen to this packed episode, you bikeaholics, you are going to feel inclined. I don't think there's any doubt about it that you're going to hear about a lot of cool stuff. And somewhere in the middle, or at least by the end, you're going to be looking around at some of the stuff we're talking about. You're probably going to spend some money. So do not blame me. Do not have your significant others come after me and blame me for you buying more stuff for your Harley. But I'm telling you, it's probably going to happen. If it does happen, if you are inclined that you have to go out and get something, please do it by shopping in the law-abiding biker store.
Welcome to the Law-Abiding Biker Podcast, and it's the best podcast because it's my daddy's podcast.
Hey, bikeaholics and listeners alike, the show is still going strong because of a lot of hard work and your support, of course. Thanks to all those loyal listeners and true friends of the show that have supported us or are supporting us. For less than a coffee a month, you can help support us too and put a little fuel in the law-abiding biker gas tank to make sure this show keeps moving on down the road. So, calling all law-abiding bikers, head over to our Patreon page and take action today. You can do so at lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. Oh, did I mention there's benefits too? From all your friends at lawabidingbiker.com, we appreciate each and every one of you. God bless and ride safe. Oh yeah, that's right, guys. Going to be a packed episode. You'll definitely want to tune into this one. Like I said, don't shoot the messenger. You may spend some money by the time the episode's over. That's right. Welcome back, you freaking bikeaholics. This is the podcast for the motorcycle majority, the Big MM, also known as the 99%. That's right, large and in charge of the motorcycle scene more than any time in history. By tuning in, by listening right now, you are part of what we call the biker revolution, whether you like it or not, guys. Thanks for being here with me. Really appreciate it. Ryan Erlacher here, your host of the Law Abiding Biker Podcast, your high-tech redneck. That's right. Couple announcements. I do want to say that the main topic today, I was lucky. Many of you that have been listening to the Law Abiding Biker Podcast, you guys that follow our very popular YouTube channel, lawabidingbiker.com/YouTube. Subscribe over there, guys, because we have a ton going on, a ton of video releases. Anyways, if you follow us there, follow us on the podcast, you know that we've become big supporters of Ciro 3D products, up and coming company. They've actually been around for a little over 2 years, I believe, and building some solid stuff. We endorse it because it's so such quality. We really like it. And I had the opportunity to interview Aero Rudd, who is the president, CEO, founder of Ciro 3D. Nice interview, a ton of useful information. And so you guys will definitely want to dial into that interview. So, new free video, which I always try to announce, how to use the Senna Cavalry Bluetooth half helmet, Bluetooth and sync and pair. So, we obviously sell the Senna Cavalry Bluetooth half helmet. It's an awesome device. I also did a video on our YouTube channel on a review of that product. And we liked it. We put it in our store. And then I did a follow-up video. It's been out for some time, but it's on how to use that. So if you do end up getting hooked up with a Cavalry helmet, number one, watch the review video, learn about it on our YouTube channel. And then number two, you'll want to, once you get it, you'll want to dial into that video and learn how that you can sync it with your phone and just how that Bluetooth module built into that helmet works, guys. So here we go. I do want to say this episode brought to you by the following patrons. We love our patrons: Chris Geis of Levittown, New York, Chris Beck of Hayden Lake, Idaho, Richard Cornell of Ringwood, Oklahoma. Lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. That's right. Pledge a certain amount per piece of content. No risk to you because you can put a monthly cap. There are benefits like t-shirts and stickers, getting a private Facebook group that's blowing up to top tier patrons. Get access to our premium videos upon request. Really, guys, you know how much I love the patron community, and it continues to grow. So there you go, guys. That's all I wanted to say up front. And again, enjoy this interview with Aero Rudd of Ciro 3D, president, CEO, founder, whatever you want to call him. Awesome guy. Had a great time talking to him. And again, don't blame me if you hear something badass and you just have to go buy it. Let's dive into this interview. How's the weather over there this time of year?
It's pretty good. I got to go riding yesterday and Saturday.
Yeah.
So
good.
It's about 60 degrees, so kind of cool, but pretty good weather for riding.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is here. Where I live, we get the seasons and all 4 seasons. And so, yeah, this weekend it was about 60, 65, sunny, but just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Okay.
Aside from
Nice.
the 107 temps we had about a month ago. So,
Yeah. I don't know if it even got over 100 this year in Wisconsin. Got up in the 90s for a couple of days, but not too bad overall.
is that, is that unnormal to get over 100 in Hudson?
No, not really.
Okay.
Doesn't happen too often.
So where are you sitting there? Is that your, are you at your guys', do you have a building or something?
Yeah, I'm in the office right now. This is actually Azura's office. She's our social media marketing girl. So this one's kind of girly, but it's my office doesn't have a door, so I decided to come in here instead because it'll be a little quieter.
Nice. Yeah. So Azura, that's how you say it, Azura?
Yep.
Is that in-house? Did you hire that in-house social media?
Yeah, she's pretty new. She just started here about 2-3 weeks ago.
Okay. So you hired though for Ciro that position?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a big part of it. It's hard to keep up on all the social media.
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, so what's the building, the facility you have? Someday I would like to tour it if we're over that way. What kind of facility?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Is it pretty big?
It's 6,400 square feet for the office. And so it used to be a home electronics showroom. This room was actually a home theater setup where they would showcase that stuff. And then the back has like a shop. And then there's a old hair salon that we converted to a photo studio so we can do all our photography in-house. And then we have another area that used to be a little retail space that we changed into where we keep a few of each product just so we have enough to send out for online orders and for dealer orders and stuff like that. And then we have customer service and tech support also in that room. And then we do have some warehouses over in Minnesota actually too, where we keep the bulk of the inventory.
Gotcha. Okay. That's what I was wondering, if everything was locally or yeah. Well, cool. I'll have to visit if we ever get over that way. I know the guys would think that would be pretty cool. So
yeah, that'd be really cool to have you come and check out the place.
Yeah. Awesome. So tell me a little bit about yourself, where you grew up in Wisconsin, and is that fair to say, or?
Yeah, I grew up in Wisconsin in a town called Hudson. It's right on the border of Wisconsin, Minnesota. And then I actually went to high school in Minnesota, though, in Mendota Heights. So it was about 35, 40 minutes away. But it was an all-boys military school. So took some cool classes there, and it was definitely a good experience.
Military school, was it? How'd you end up? Is that because your dad or something, or?
Well, I guess it was my parents' decision. They kind of did some research and thought that it would be a good fit for me, since the school I was going to at the time was kind of, I don't know, it was real small and there wasn't a lot of good direction there. So the military school was actually pretty cool because we got to go and march around. We got to do target practice with rifles and stuff, and it was pretty cool.
Sweet. I like that. Now, so raised in Hudson, and you're running your business, Ciro 3D, out of Hudson. Fair to say?
Yep. Yeah, we're right off I-94, about a couple blocks off. So
at some point, as you're growing up, I think it's probably fair to say, although I don't know, you got introduced to the motorcycle industry. Can you tell me about that? How that came about? Did you ride from a young age?
Yeah, so I started riding on dirt bikes when I was probably 14 or so. And then since my dad's the founder of Kuriakin, once I was 16, I started working there summers when I wasn't in school. And so I learned a lot working there. I did pretty much every different job available. I did customer service, tech support, returns, worked down in the R&D department, and I would go to the rallies with Kuriakin and work on customers' bikes and actually talk to a lot of the customers too. So that's kind of how I was introduced to the motorcycle industry.
Wow. So that's very interesting. I don't want to gloss over that. Your dad, did you say founded Karyakin?
He did, yeah. Him and my mom, Pat, they founded Karyakin in, I believe it was 1990 or 1989.
Wow. So just that's amazing. I didn't know that little factoid. Out of Hudson?
They actually founded it in their garage, which was kind of between Hudson and Stillwater, a little north of Hudson. And then once it grew too large to just be in the garage, they ended up buying an old building that had been kind of burnt out on the inside. So they redid it and then started in Somerset there.
Wow. So now is your dad still owner of Karyakin? Does he still run that?
No, he retired from Karyakin actually back in 2013.
Okay. And so he probably sold Karyakin off to somebody else then?
Yeah. Prior to that, they were bought out by a private equity group called Motorsports Aftermarket Group. And so Meg owns multiple companies in the industry like Progressive Suspension, Mustang Seats, Performance Machine, Vance and Hines. That's some of their companies all in that same group.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. And so obviously you said you worked and worked in a lot of different areas. Is that when is it fair to say at that time you knew this might be maybe something you want to go into, this industry?
Yeah, definitely. I always had a really good time working at Karyakin and working on people's bikes and stuff. So I knew when I was old enough, I didn't know if I would kind of start being at Karyakin more, if I'd start my own thing, or I actually started doing UTVs, and I would bring a UTV to Sturgis and have it at the Karyakin tent because I was really interested in that. And I thought it might be a really emerging market to go into. But since I didn't really have an overwhelming response of people wanting to buy all this stuff for their UTVs, I decided to then just go with what I knew best, which was the motorcycle accessories.
So UTV, remind me what that is, man.
Yeah, so that's like the Polaris Razor, the Can-Am Wildcats, or not the Can-Am Wildcats, the Can-Am Mavericks, and then the Arctic Cat Wildcats. It's basically the side-by-side off-road vehicles.
Okay. So interesting. So you started in that market and then it sounds like there wasn't a ton of interest there.
The response wasn't what I thought it would be. Like I had a fully outfitted Razor out in Sturgis. It had probably $12,000 worth of accessories on it. And so people, they really thought it was awesome. And they really wanted to buy just the full complete thing. But I didn't really get a lot of accessories sales from that. So I was kind of confused and decided to just go and do some motorcycle stuff first instead.
Yeah, that's interesting, that industry, because I've never really studied it, but it does seem like you don't see a ton of them out on the road. That doesn't mean we won't, but it just seems like it's kind of a slower industry when it comes to that.
Yeah, they are becoming more street legal in a lot more areas, which is cool. Because when I go out to Sturgis, I bring the Razor too, and you can just ride it on the streets there. You can find trails in the Black Hills. It's a really nice place to ride. Yeah,
that's cool. They're over here in Washington State. They're legal. We do have them. I see them running around town. So you made the switch, so to speak, and you're focusing at this time. Now, did you go to, obviously you did high school and all that, and you're working at Karyakin and all that kind of stuff. Did you go to school at somewhere, college or anything?
Yeah, I went to St. Thomas University for about 2 years studying entrepreneurship. But I decided about halfway through my time there that I just wanted to go out and actually start a business instead of just continuing to try to get a degree. So ended up hiring some of the guys that I became friends with when I was working at Karyakin. There was 3 of the designers there. And so in May 2014 was when I hired them, and we started making a cool line of products for the motorcycles.
Very cool. Oh, so you had 3 designers that used to work for Karyakin that now you pulled them and they're working for you?
Yep, exactly.
Nice. That's very cool. And these guys sounds like these guys got a lot of experience because you quote 40 years plus design experience. Is that fair to say these guys worked at Karyakin for a long time?
Yeah, they were each there for 10 to 15 years.
Very nice. Are they housed out of your building in Hudson then?
Yep. Yeah, we're all on the same office here at Hudson.
Okay. Very cool. Now, at some point, so now we're to the point where you're entrepreneur, ship took over. You're out of college. You did what a lot of entrepreneurs did and just went and did it. You start dreaming up Ciro 3D. How you want to take me through that a little bit on what you were thinking at this point?
What I did was I got the two most popular models of Harley, which at the time, well, I think they still are, but it was the Street Glide and the Ultra 2014. That was right when they released the Rushmore new body style and everything. Everyone was really excited about it because the new fairing design with the vent and everything was super nice. And so we started with those two bikes, got them all laser scanned into the computer. So we'd be able to build parts right on top of them in SolidWorks. That way we can make sure everything fits perfectly, all the contours and lines match up. So it makes it really easy for the customer or the dealer to install and not have to make any modifications to the bike. Okay. And then, so that's what we started with. And we came up with a line of about 150 products and then ended up releasing them later that year at the 75th annual Sturgis. So it was a really good time to do a product launch. And so we brought a semi out there, had a 100 by 30 foot display with installation in the back and sales in the rest of the tent. And that's kind of how the brand was launched.
That's awesome. And we were at the 75th. Where was your, you guys go to these events and stuff. Where were you at the Black Hills Harley-Davidson?
Yep. Yeah, we were at the Harley dealer there, set up along the outer edge so you could see our trailer from the interstate.
See, and I think I vaguely remember that. It was before I was completely aware of you guys, but we actually were there at Black Hills. So darn, I wish I'd have known you a little better. I'd come up and said hi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Can you do me a favor? I know our audience would be very interested. I'm very interested in this. You mentioned a couple things. You talked about you get a Harley when you're going to make these products. You have to somehow find all the dimensions of a current Harley-Davidson motorcycle. I find that process very interesting. Can you walk me through how you guys do that? And you mentioned a couple other things like SolidWorks. My audience, I know, would be very interested in hearing that process and what happens and when you do that.
To start off, what we do first is we actually work with a company out of Minnesota called GKS Laser Scanning. And so they come out and we cover the whole bike in this white talcum powder. That makes it so it's just a non-reflective surface. And then when they're using the laser, they position this laser arm next to the bike and they scan the whole motorcycle into their computer software. And then once they have that, they model it so it's usable with programs like SolidWorks. And then from there, our designers are able to actually build the parts right onto that 3D model of the motorcycle, which is how you get all those surfaces and contours without actually having to try to physically measure those and go back and forth and try to measure it and get it to fit. And then once we have a decent start on the design process, we start printing out 3D models. So we've got a 3D printer here that prints a polycarbonate material. So we can actually take that and put it on the motorcycle. We can install it just like a normal part would be. And even functional things, we can test them like our highway peg mounts, because you can drill and tap these 3D printed models. And we can actually go out and ride with them, just make sure they fit, basically just refine the design from there. And so that really helps having the 3D scans and 3D models. Wow,
fascinating. That very interesting. Now, you're in Wisconsin, obviously, so we've got Harley there. I don't know how close you are. Is it fair to say, and I know the answer to this, I think, Harley's not just you can't just ask them for all that stuff?
Yeah, exactly. Harley's not very friendly with the aftermarket because they want to sell their own parts and accessory line. And so to get all that information, you really have to go out there and do it yourself. And then it also presents a little bit of an obstacle trying to get your accessories into the actual bar and shield Harley dealers, because they really don't want anyone else's accessories in there besides their own. I mean, they have to have a little bit of leeway since all their owners of the dealerships are pushing for it. They want to carry more than just Harley parts. But they also play games like where you've got to have this much Harley part sales so you can get your bikes allocation. If you don't sell enough Harley accessories, you won't get the bikes you want, and it's just kind of compounds on there. So it makes it a little difficult for us to sell through bar and shield dealers. But there's a lot of them out there that are willing to try the aftermarket stuff too.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised that Harley's difficult to work with on that stuff. So you, at some point, you decided on this name, Ciro 3D. I do have to quickly ask you where that came from and what that means to you guys.
Okay. So yeah, I had a list of probably 60 or 70 names that I just like the sound of, like the look of. Try to think of something that'd be easy to remember. And so after trademark searching, all that came down to just a few that were actually available. And so then I had a graphic artist drop some logos and some cool like stylized font kits and stuff. So I ended up settling on Ciro just because I really like the logo. I really like the color scheme and everything that went along with it. And it has kind of a cool meaning too. It means ruler in Latin. So hopefully we're trying to rule the motorcycle aftermarket.
I like it. I like it. I knew there was a meaning behind that. And yes, you guys are doing awesome. And I will tell you that I know you guys got a hold of us some time ago. We appreciate your support of the show and the law-abiding biker community. We finally got you on the #1 listened to motorcycle podcast in the world here. And so we want to get your word out there because we get a lot of stuff sent to us, and we get a lot of contacts. And we really have to sift through that. People want to be on the YouTube and the podcast and stuff like that. And I will tell you, straight up, Aero, since I'm talking to you face to face here, we got your stuff, and I'm still highly impressed with what you guys are doing. And I'm not just saying that because you guys are supporting us. We don't do anything on our channel or our podcast if we don't personally use it. And I want to with this, I want to dive into exactly what your guys are doing and your mission and some of your products, but they are high quality. And I'm excited to see the future of Ciro 3D. So let's dive into and tell the audience. And we do sell all this stuff in our store. We liked it so much, we brought it right to our own online store. That's how much we like this stuff. And why don't you tell us about the product lines that you have, the useful information for the bikers listening out there?
Okay, yeah, thank you. I really appreciate the positive feedback on everything.
You betcha.
So, yeah, kind of what we do is for the designers, I tell them kind of the feedback I've got from all the customers at the shows, what people are looking for and what I think we should work on next. And from there, we just look at what's available in the market. And since we're such a new company, it's easier for us to see what's already available out there and make sure that we make our products at least 50% better than what's already available. I think that helps make the decision easy for people on which parts they want to go with. And we also make sure that everything we sell is plug and play if it's wiring, because all the 2014 and newer bikes use a CAN bus system. And so that integrates all your voltages for all the lights into the computer system of the bike. And if you upset that balance, you're going to get engine lights going off and all that. So the way we make our parts, we buy actual Harley connectors, which isn't cheap, but you get a premium product that way. And so then all the customer has to do is simply just plug it in right under their seat, and then it's good to go. Makes the install easy for dealers so that the customer doesn't have to pay a bunch to have a dealer put it on. Or if they want to do it right in their garage, it makes it easy for them as well.
Of course, we love our patrons. We'd love you to become a patron member so we can get to know you better in the private Facebook group, but we never balk at a flat donation if that's how you choose to support us. lawabidingbiker.com/donate is how you do that. Corey Knipe of Bradford, Ontario, Canada. There you go. Says, keep up the great work. IME Stitching of Farrington Hills, Michigan, and Lynn Murphy. All right. John Fisher of Harthorpe, Maryland. Substantial donation. Also signed up as a patron. Unbelievable. Jerion Jansen of the Netherlands. Awesome. Shout out Netherlands. And he donated for the new studio and shop. And David Weber of Akron, Ohio, also donated for the new studio and shop. That's right, guys. Don't forget, we also have the fundraiser page for the new Law Abiding Biker studio and shop. You can just head over to lawabidingbiker.com/build it. lawabidingbiker.com/build it if you want to see us and see that project through so that we can get up and running quicker and so there's no hiccups and we can continue to produce more content for you guys out there in the biker community. All right, let's go ahead and get back into your interview. Yeah, well said. And we have some videos out there. We did a few of the Vision X headlight, the Fang LEDs, and I've got a box of stuff here that you guys sent me. We're going to get on here. I actually just got an email from Rick, who you've talked to in Big Daddy Kane down there. We're going to start installing some stuff on his bike. In fact, next week we're filming, so we'll be putting out some more YouTube videos. And while we have that topic, I want to talk what we're going to do. He told me this right here. Maybe you can talk about these products a little bit. So he wants on his, we're going to put bag blades and saddlebag extensions. And then on mine, it sounds like we're going to film a Fang LED headlight bezel. You want to talk about those products a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. So the first one's the saddlebag extensions. Those are pretty cool because the way we designed those was we actually took about 5 to 10 pounds of clay and put the bike up on the lift. And what we did was we molded that clay onto the saddlebag and kind of carved away at it until we had a really cool, sleek design that molds right into the bag so it looks almost factory. But you also get the added benefit of having a run, turn, and brake light built in down there. So it gives you more light coming up the side of the bike, which is nice. If you're at a four-way stop or something, they can definitely tell if you're about to turn. And then it's always good to have more brake light on the back of those street glides, road glides, because they really don't have much from the factory. And the bag extensions, they just bolt up to the bottom of the bag with 3 bolts. So that way they're really nice and secure. And if you look at the shape, it kind of radiuses under the saddlebag. So when you're riding a little more aggressively and getting real low in the corners, it doesn't scrape the bag extensions, which is an issue with a lot of the other custom bags that are squared off at the bottom. You'll end up just grinding off all your paint down there.
Yeah, totally.
And then, and they also have a quick disconnector that is going to be right at the edge of your seat. So when you take your saddlebag off, you just unplug the wiring right there. Makes taking the bags on and off very easy. And then the bag blades are kind of the same way. Those we really designed because we saw so many people had the Harley ones, which are a big, thick, kind of bulky looking add-on that go under the bag lid. And so we did ours as thin as possible, as low profile. It's got a light smoke lens, so it really blends in right under the shadow of your bag lid. And then that works the same way. It's got a quick disconnector on the edge of the seat for when you take off your saddlebag. The amber light we incorporate into those also really draws your eye because with the all red on the back of the bike, say if you're on and off the brakes and you've also got your turn signal on, it's really hard for you to tell, for the person behind you to tell, is he turning? Is he just stopping? But this amber that we incorporate in there, when you install them, that really draws your eye and it's a clear, defined, like, oh yeah, he's going to make a right turn.
Yeah, very, very nice. Kind of like the front Fang signals that are white and then they turn amber when you put your signal on, similar type.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like that.
Yeah, very cool. I can see it's going to be really cool if you get the Fang LED lights, the signal brake lights, and then I'm looking right here at your site, and then the bag blades. And if you did the saddlebag extension, you'd be lit up like a Christmas tree back there, basically.
Yeah, that would add a bunch of light to the back of your street glide, road glide. And we also have the filler lights too that are really nice that just stick right on top of the stock filler panel.
Yeah, and so
plug in under your seat.
Yeah, so the filler panel for the audience is in between your saddlebag and the fender. Yeah, I forgot about those too. That's awesome. I think you guys sent us one of those in the box too, so we will definitely get to all this stuff as time allows. I'm excited to get it installed and film some of this stuff. So, and then my bike, we're going to do the, because I already got the Vision X headlight, which we're super stoked with. That video is getting a ton of hits, and we're selling a lot of those out of our store. I'm going to do this, what is it, the headlight? What did I say? A headlight bezel.
Yeah, the Fang headlight bezel, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that one's pretty cool because I'm sure you've seen just a million completely just round, plain headlight bezels out there. Some of them have the lights in them, some don't. But so we decided to make ours a little cooler than that and actually merge that round headlight into the square fairing opening, because the Batwing fairing is more of a square opening, whereas the headlight's round. So the way our trim, it really molds that gap right there. So it fills it all in. You don't get bugs getting stuck in there anymore. And then we also added the white driving lights to it, which just plug into the accessory port behind your fairing. So it's a plug and play. You get more light on the front of your bike, and it also just really smooths out the styling of that front end. Yeah,
I'm looking at it right now on your website. It looks badass. I can't wait to get that on. I had to wait. That's a problem. I can't put all the parts on Aero because we have to film it and we have to plan it all. So some of the guys try to sneak parts on around here. We call it the underground garage, and they don't tell me about it because I want to film it all, and I'll catch them bastards. I'll catch them and say, you can't be installing crap without me filming it. So for our YouTube channel, but that does look very cool. So the one thing I like, I'm pretty sold on this stuff is what you said, and I just want to capitalize on that, Aero, is it is a lot of plug and play stuff. And of course we do the videos on it, but that is one of the things that separates you, is it fair to say, from a lot of the other aftermarket companies out there? This means less time installing, more time riding, and stuff guys can do themselves, so they don't have to pay a dealership, because that's a big deal when you're buying parts. It's already expensive, but they're saving money by not installing. Is that kind of the vision as Ciro continues into the future to stay on that route?
Yeah, exactly. Everything we're working on right now, we've got a lot of new lighting products coming out, especially for the Road Glide. It's all going to be plug and play. You will see a lot of the other companies out there. They'll just include the product, and then they'll include some taps for you to find a hot wire and tap it in. But on the new 14 and up bikes, that's really not a good idea, because you're going to mess up your computer system. It's going to set off engine lights. And I mean, it makes it a lot easier for those companies to do that, because that way they can just cover everything with one part number. They don't need to have the specific connectors for if it's an Ultra versus a Street Glide or whatever kind of bike you're trying to go to. But we decided to take kind of the more premium route and make sure we have everything just plug and play, super easy to install for the consumer.
Yeah, nice. And it really is. Yeah, I didn't think about that side of it. So I'm just going to digress just a little bit. We talk about the CAN bus, which are, for the audience, your Harley plugs. They're very specific plugs, and you're using those. Of course, they're a little more expensive. But are you telling me basically, Aero, that by using those plugs and tapping into with those plugs the current Harley system, that you're not going to run the risk of those bells and lights and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, exactly. And that also, it's not just the plugs, it's also the controllers that we include with the kits. If you open up, say, a set of filler panels or our bag blades or something, you'll see after the connectors that go to your stock wiring, there's actually a little box that's called our CAN bus decoder. And so that makes it so it doesn't draw the power from your turn signal and running and brake light system, because that's going to show the computer that there's more draw coming from these wires, and it's going to be wondering, why is this happening? It'll set off engine lights. And so our CAN bus decoder actually just takes the signal from those wires, and then it takes the power from a separate source so that your computer's not confused and it doesn't mess up any of your electronics on the bike.
Yeah, magic. I like it. I didn't know how that all works. So that is definitely one of the benefits, because we've installed a lot of parts here. Now, let's talk a little bit, Aero, about the Fang LEDs. And I know we can't name all, but for the 14 up models, they're pretty much plug and play. Now, they're, depending on older bikes, some of these products, load equalizer, right? Can you talk a little bit about what that is and why some guys might need that? And if you guys need the specifications on this, you can go to our online store, and we have it all listed there on whether your maker model will need a load equalizer. But can you explain that a little bit, Aero? Yeah,
so for the 14 and newer bikes with that CAN bus system, it is a smart system. So when you take out your halogen bulbs and put in the LEDs, the resistance is decreased, but then you're able to actually reprogram the system really easily by pushing the 4-way flash button. You let the bike cycle through a few flashes, and then it learns the new resistance, how it's less because it's LED, and then you're all good to go. You don't need a load equalizer or anything. But with the pre-2014 bikes, those actually, the system isn't hooked up to a computer or anything, so you can't really reprogram it. So under the seat, you actually have to plug in a load equalizer, which simulates the halogen bulb still being on the bike. So that way, it'll slow down the flash, and it won't give you that fast flash like it thinks the bulb is burnt out.
What if you didn't do a load equalizer? What would happen?
If you don't do it, the resistance is decreased to that circuit. And so your bike is going to think that the light is burnt out, even though it's still going to be flashing. It'll be at a little bit increased rate, but it's not going to harm anything on the bike. So if you don't mind the faster flash, you don't need to use the load equalizer.
Awesome information. I wanted to ask you that, because it seems like in the past we've installed some different kind of things and we just left it blinking, a little bit quick like that. So that's
no problem at all. It's just personal preference.
awesome. That's something that I appreciate because we can pass that on to customers support emails. We get on a lot of your guys' stuff and say, hey, you don't technically need one if you don't care about this. So yeah, awesome, man. So what other, let's, before we move into, I want to move in, you're a lot more diverse than lighting products, which, the other thing I want to mention is a video we did, and we have it on several of our bikes, is the shock and awe LED lights. All the videos, guys, can be found on our YouTube channel, lawabidingbiker.com/YouTube. And we show you how to install all this stuff. You want to just talk about shock and awe or any other, before we move on from lighting, that you really want to get out to the audience, like a must-have type stuff?
Must-have for lighting, I'd say, is probably the bag blades, just because there's so many bikes out there that can use them. Any Harley hardstyle bag, even all the way back to 1996, can use the bag blades. And so all the guys with the stretched out ends that don't have a lot of lighting back there, the bag blades are the perfect way to add more light and just have it really clean. So it's not just a big stuck on add-on. It'll keep your custom paint nice. It'll just add some visibility and safety. Nice.
You sold me on that. Then that's going to be our next video. I'll tell Rick that we need to get bag blades out there, that we'll get those on and get that YouTube video released all the way back to 1996. That's useful because a lot of stuff, it seems, and correct me if I'm wrong, not a lot of stuff, but there's a fair amount of stuff. Are you mostly focusing on your lighting stuff on 14 and up? But it sounds like some things like this go back 1996. Can you clean that up and let the audience kind of know what years your guys' stuff is good for?
Yeah, so to decipher that, you really just have to look at the catalog or on the packaging or on the website. But we decided to, so at first we did everything for 2014 and newer because that's when we started. But then after the feedback we get from going to rallies like Sturgis, Daytona, Laconia, that's how we get the feedback to decide and bring these lighting products to the earlier models. So we decided to do the bag blades, we did the saddlebag extensions, the Fang headlight trim. We did a lot of those really popular products for the earlier bikes too, because there was a lot of demand for it.
Okay. Yeah. Good to know. So yeah, get on the website, get on Ciro3D.com, or our store has a bunch of information for products too. We kind of just take it from the Ciro site and put it on ours. So a lot of lighting stuff you guys should look at. Browse our store. We are adding more stuff. Over time, we'll get all the products in there, but it takes a little bit of time. So you're a lot more than lighting. Why don't you talk about some of the other things that you guys are into and performance type stuff?
Yeah, so we do have a great line of performance accessories. We've got air cleaner styles. We've got cams. We've got tuners, exhaust, headers. So they can really make their bike. Probably our best selling exhaust is the megaphone muffler. It's actually, I don't know if you're familiar with the CFRs, but it's kind of designed after the CFRs. Mm-hmm. But we actually did a dual heat shield style so that you don't get the discoloration up by the headers. And our mufflers are one of the only brands that are actually warranted against discoloration and stuff like that. It's all the stainless steel wrapping over the stainless steel perforated baffle, so you don't get fiberglass degrading and changing the tone of your mufflers down the road. And so that's one of the big benefits to our mufflers.
Very cool. Now, we also we did a video and we released that too. I will put everything for you guys, listeners out there. I'll put everything in the show notes. All the videos that we've done so far on the Ciro stuff, but we actually installed those megaphone mufflers and carbon fiber tips is what we put. And they sound nice. They sound nice, and I like the look of them too.
Yeah, they're nice because all the hardware is hidden and just one bolt from the bottom holds the tip on. And with the straight mufflers, that's the other style. It's a 4-inch at the front and the back. That one you actually can choose if you want it loud or quiet because it comes with a removable baffle.
Yep, good info. I had forgotten that. Yeah, with removable baffle. Yeah, if you guys want, we also did some sound tests as good as you can do with film of running up and down the road and stuff. So check that video out. That'll give you a good idea. And take a look at these things because they are pretty cool. Now you're doing, do you have any other, looking at your website, do you have any other exhaust, or is that your only exhaust you're doing right now?
Yeah, so we have the two styles, this megaphone and the straight muffler.
That's right, yep.
But then we have a whole bunch of tip options you can choose from. There's 10 different muffler tips. So that's where you can really customize it to match the look of your bike.
Yep, definitely. Good. And what else performance wise you're talking, are you doing a couple different cams, or do you have one specific cam that you're doing?
We just have one cam right now. It's manufactured by Andrews in Wisconsin here.
Nice.
And it really gives you some good low end, mid range torque. So we've seen great increases with that. I've got that on my personal street glide, and it's pretty awesome performance increase.
Okay, and then did you mention, I wasn't completely aware, are you doing an EFI tuner too?
Yeah, we usually we carry other people's EFI tuners. We carry the Master Tune, which is the TTS. That's for if you want to really be able to get in there and customize it. And then we also have the Dynajet. So
okay,
when we're at the rallies, those are the two we'll use and install for people.
Okay, and you guys are, I see you're very involved, and you have been. Are you still going, you personally, to a lot of the, you guys have a big truck, I see. Are you still going to a lot of the biker events and stuff?
Yeah, so we do have 2 more this year. We've got Biketoberfest in Panama. I'll be at both of those. And I do go to all the rallies personally too, because it's just such a great place to talk to people. And that's where you really get all your ideas for what to make next.
Right. Well, very cool. So what, if you could tell me, if you have it in your mind, what are one of the products that you're probably in your store that you're like, that's one of my favorites in there that you guys created? If you can answer that. I know that's hard. You can even pick 2 if you want, but that you're like, that really, that was difficult, but I'm glad we did it because it's rocking it basically.
Okay. Yeah, I'd have to say probably the frame mounted highway peg mounts. It replaces the front floorboard mount and bolts directly to the frame. It's a really strong steel piece. And then it's got an adjustable arm that bolts to that piece. And so it's splined, so you can adjust it 360 degrees and really get your highway pegs in a nice spot for you. Nice.
I'm looking at them now. They do look badass. And I know in that little treasure box that you sent us, I believe we have those too. And definitely can't wait to give those a shot. So now,
I remember that video. You pulled them out of there, and you're like, "Holy crap, these things are super heavy."
Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah. When when you guys sent me, I did a little live or something. Yeah. Yep. Those things are solid. I do remember now. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see how solid they are when you get them on the bike.
That's freaking sweet. So let me take it here. How many employees? I want to talk a little bit about your operations. You've got a ton of products out there, and it sounds like you're adding more. What do you have, like 200 plus products, I think I heard?
Yeah, we have about 208 part numbers right now.
Okay. And obviously you're working on other stuff. Give us behind the scenes a little bit. How many employees does Ciro 3D have?
Yeah, so we've got 9 employees. So we keep a relatively lean team, but we're really efficient. It makes it so we can just create a bunch of products really easily. We don't have a whole bunch of hoops you got to jump through to just make a new part.
Nice. Do all those employees work out of your Hudson, Wisconsin facility there?
They do, yep.
Okay. So you guys, do you have like I assume all the equipment? I mean, you're designing this stuff there, but where are you? And you said you have in Minnesota, I think you said you have warehouses. I guess what's the manufacturing process look? I mean, where are you? Do you guys have factory that you're making this stuff? How's that work?
Yeah, so we once our product is finished, we send out the design files to multiple factories, and we get quotes back from them, and then we decide based on the factory specialty and where the pricing comes in at. That's who we award the project to. And then we just get it shipped in. It comes into our warehouse in Minnesota. And then that's where we distribute it to dealers or a distributor, Drake Specialties, or if people buy online too, an order from Ciro3D.com.
Okay. So, and are you, I know you've gotten really popular, Ciro 3D, which is awesome because it's good stuff. Are you keeping up with the bikers' demands out there on products? Has that been a headache at all, or?
There's always a lot of stuff people ask for at the show is that you just sometimes maybe you won't do it because it's for an earlier bike and not completely sure if you might be able to sell enough for them yet. So there's some stuff like that, but a lot of the stuff they ask for, we are either usually working on it or it's planned in the future. So we do every once in a while hear an idea that we've never thought of too, and we pursue those as well. But we've got really good factories that can keep up with as much demand as we create. So we really never have a shortage of products.
All right. Well, that's good. So tell me this, you guys, you're obviously a motorcycle enthusiast, because I want to talk a little bit about that. You guys aren't just, I think it's fair to say, there's some companies that just got in the industry, because it looked lucrative to them. But you guys are behind the scenes are actually bikers. You ride. Tell me a little bit about your experience, what kind of bike you have, and did you go on any big rides this year?
Yeah, probably. So I have a 03 Springer Softail and a 15 Street Glide Special. And I haven't really gone on any huge rides this year. Probably my favorite was riding out in Sturgis. A couple of days before the event opened for business, I took a couple of days and went riding out there. And I think that's always one of my favorite places. Go on the Needles Highway, go to Custer, stopped and saw the new Full Throttle. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I got to see that. The new Full Throttle. What did you think of it? Not to get too off track, but I'm curious because the old one was so cool. I'm like, how are they gonna reinvent that? Is it just as big?
I don't think it's quite as big, but it's really well done inside the bar. It's dedicated to the men and women who built America. And so they have all this really old, cool machinery and equipment. There's gears in there that are 15 feet in diameter. And so it's just really cool to see all this antique stuff. And it's the stuff that built America.
Yeah, that's freaking cool. Yeah, I'll have to get back there and to see that. And yeah, I do appreciate that riding around there too, especially if you hit it a little bit. Sounds like you hit a little bit before, so it's not so jam-packed with bikes. Any other rides that I know you're a busy guy, so it's hard to get away. Any other rides this year, long rides, or is that one of your bigger ones?
That's definitely probably my favorite one. I did some riding out in Laconia too. Went to Weirs Beach. That's always a really nice place. We're set up at the racetrack in Laconia, so also get to go and check out. There's a lot of motorcycle racing going on at the track while we're there, and there's police training on the track, doing the road course on their Harleys, which is amazing to see them rip around the track on those things.
Nice. Yeah, that would be fun. I've been to a few of those schools, higher speed schools, so that's awesome. All right, so you guys are going to the events. Who do you take when our audience is looking for the Ciro 3D truck at their at these biker events? Who do you got? You got to take the whole crew, or just a few of you, or what? You go to all of them?
Yeah, so I go to all of them, and then we've got a couple people from the office usually come. Like we take the tech support guy, Darren. We take one of the designers usually, just because it's really good for them to be out there and see, look for more product ideas and just get people's feedback on things. And then we actually bring in mechanics from Missouri and New York. We fly them into the shows just because they've been with us for a long time. They're really good guys. And I bring in salespeople from all over too, from whether it's Minnesota or also New York for some of them. So it's kind of a mixed team, but we do really well together.
So at the event, what can if bikers are at the event and you guys take quite a bit of Ciro product, I would assume, and what can guys expect if they visit your booth if they want to dress their bike up?
Yeah, so we take a little bit of everything. So we've got all of our products available right there on the truck, and we've got 4 lifts for the mechanics. We usually bring 5 mechanics as well. And so they just pull up with their bike. You can hop right on the lift and get anything we carry installed on your bike right there.
Yeah, that's nice. Is that a special deal at the events that you put it on, or is that an additional cost for the install?
There are a lot of the accessories we actually do free install on at the shows. There are some that take a little bit longer, and so we charge for some of those, but our prices are really competitive as far as install. Like we'll do, for a set of saddlebag extensions, it'll only be like $25 to install them, which at a Harley dealer, that'd be probably a little over $100 because they take about an hour. So we do really good deals on labor. We usually have some promotions going on a specific part for the event too. Like at Sturgis, we were doing a promotion on our engine chrome kits. So people could get a discount on that. But you just kind of have to come see us at the show to see what's going to be on sale.
Yeah, awesome. Definitely hit them up if you guys are out there. I know a ton of you listening audience go to those events, so definitely stop by and talk to Aero and tell him you heard him on the Law Abiding Biker podcast and all that. Anything, Aero, that I didn't ask that you think super important that you need to get out about Ciro 3D to the masses that you want to tell them?
I think you did a pretty good job covering it.
Awesome, man. It's nice talking to you. Where can, obviously they can hit you up at Ciro3D.com. Of course, guys, you want to support us. We are carrying their products right in our own Law Abiding Biker online store. Any other, you out there on social media, Twitter, the Facebook, you doing some Snapchat or any craziness like that people can get in touch with you?
Yeah, I think our Facebook is pretty popular. It's Ciro 3D. And also a good thing to know too is that you can go into your local dealer and ask for our products because we're distributed through Drag Specialties and they sell to all the Harley dealers in the US. So if you want to support your local dealer too, you can go ahead and go in there and ask them for our parts. I'll be able to get them for you and install them as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So Drag Specialties and most shops, a majority of them, and Harley too, are Drag Specialties hooked up with them. So there you go, guys. Yeah, you can ask them right there for the Ciro 3D. And man, it's been awesome talking to you. I appreciate you taking time this morning to talk with us here at lawabidingbiker.com, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show. It was great talking to you as well.
There you go, Bikeaholics. I told you, you're going to want, if you haven't already bought a badass Ciro 3D product, you're going to want to. And of course, do that right in the Law Abiding Biker store. We're getting all the products up there, guys. If you don't see it, don't worry. Just email us, sales@lawabidingbiker.com. Just means we haven't added it to the website yet, but we can get anything for you from Ciro 3D, guys. And yeah, there you go. Hey, what do you think about this song? Yeah, it's different, isn't it? That's because one of our listeners, and Pablo Calcerada, I believe is how you say it. That's how involved our community is. He goes out and he made this himself. He made this tune, and I thought that was pretty cool. He emailed it to us, so thank you, Pablo, for being involved. And he's like, you don't have to use it if you don't like it and all this. I'm like, hell, that's pretty cool. I'll at least get it in a couple episodes. Got a nice little, oh yeah. Not bad. Rocking it. Good job, Pablo. We'll use it now and then. Be a good outro. What do you think, guys? Yeah. So don't forget, guys, we also are right in the middle of getting the Law Abiding Biker shop and studio going. So if you want to help us, lawabidingbiker.com/build it. You can go to our fundraiser page there. All right, guys, we are out of here.